Hi, good evening, everyone. We'll get started in a minute. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start. Please feel free to submit any questions in the chat. I'll be taking a look at them. And so this is Chartnote, and our goal is to expedite your medical documentation. And we have several features that we offer to do that. We started 4 years ago with a very simple platform that offer dot phrases. We call them snippets. And the snippets basically expanded a block of text. And basically, if you type, for example, an abbreviation, it will expand something that you can control and select that from drop-down menus and optionals, and then quickly create a note. So that was the first part of our platform. Then we added voice recognition. If you ever use Dragon Dictation, we pretty much offer a very comparable solution with very good medical vocabulary and accuracy, and it's very affordable. And then last year we added AI, and with AI, it's just mind blowing what we can do. And there are three main features that use AI in our platform. The most popular one is the AI Scribe, and the AI Scribe, what it does is listens to the conversation between the doctor and the patient, and then it creates a structured note. Some cases this doesn't work. Let's say you're with a patient with dementia, in a nursing home where there's not a very good communication, then or maybe just the patient doesn't feel comfortable, you can use voice chart. And voice chart is kind of like going back to old school dictation. If you remember 10 years ago, you would see a patient, and then afterwards you dictate a note, and then it will go to a transcription. It's in the other side of the world, and then after a few hours come back as a note. So here we're trying to do the same, except there is no transcriptionist. AI does that job, and it takes just a few seconds. So that's what voice chart is. And then we have Copilot. Copilot is basically having ChatGPT in a secure environment in the context of your note. So you can ask any question, ask for any task, and you will have like kind of like a virtual assistant. Anyway, so let's get started. If you don't have an account, it's free to create an account, and you have access to all the features that I just mentioned. And when you log in, you're gonna see this. This is the homepage, and from here, to orient you a little bit, we have three main buttons. In the very center, we have the AI Scribe, the voice chart, and here you have note templates. If you want to create a note from scratch, just by typing or dictating, you can do that and select your template. On the left side menu, we have all the notes that you've been creating, and when you create a new account, it's going to be empty, so you're going to slowly see all the notes being created there. On the right side menu, we have a few options. You can hide it if you don't want to see all those options, but we have link to the help desk, link to the learn section. We have a lot of good video tutorials. If you want to upgrade, you can go to billing plans. And here we have a chat that is active 24/7. So if you have any questions, you can always go there. And anyway, so let's get started. Today, I don't have my usual helper to do the role of a patient, so I'm going to skip the AI Scribe, but I'm going to use a voice chart, which is very similar, except that it's just me dictating versus if you go to AI Scribe, you can record the patient conversation. Now, depending on your setup, let's say if you're in the ED versus in a clinic, it might be easier for you to record using your mobile device. So we have a mobile app on Google on your iPhone, and it looks something like this. It's called Chartnote Mobile. So it pretty much mimics what you're seeing on your web platform, except that it's on a smaller screen. To get access to the three main options that we discussed, you have the right lower corner, you have this blue button, and you can, for example, select AI Scribe, and it's going to give you this same view. An important note about the AI Scribe, it's always important to ask for consent. Just imagine you have like a virtual scribe or a in-person scribe in the room. You will ask the patient if it's okay if the AI Scribe listens to the conversation, and it's the most common thing to say is that I'm using this AI Scribe, and it will help me create a note so I can listen and pay more attention to you. Usually patients are okay with that. You can also ask your medical assistant if you're in the clinic to do that ahead of time. Some clinics like having the patient sign a form ahead of time. It's not needed to sign a consent. We're not doing a procedure or anything. But if you have questions about how to proceed with that, reach out or talk to your administration. But anyway, so once you request permission, then you can either start recording on the app or on the web. And you have a few settings here. These are not, you don't necessarily need to mess with them, but sometimes they might be helpful. For example, if you want to label the note just with a short name of patient or room number, you can quickly do that here. If you actually want to insert all the patient demographics and link a patient to the note, you can do that here. Here in helpful information, sometimes you don't discuss like the age or gender of the patient, and during the visit. So sometimes it's good to put like quick demographics there, or some important information that you maybe copied from the EHR. You want to put it there so the AI is aware of this information. And then you can select the template, the language. Like if you're conducting the visit in a different language, you can change that. If you do a lot of like back and forth, like let's say Spanish and English, you can do an automatic language detection. That way you don't have to remember about changing the settings. And then these settings is if you're interested in getting billing codes from the AI, especially the EM code, you probably want to let the AI know where you're having this visit. It's in the ED, in the hospital, in the clinic. It's a follow-up initial visit. Anyway, let's go back to home, the voice chart. And voice chart has very similar settings, but the main goal here is that you're going to dictate. So let's do a quick test. This is a 55-year-old female with history of diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. Presents to the ED, complaining of chest pain and shortness of breath. And the pain started a week ago, and a patient reports that it happens when they're exercising or walking for a couple of blocks, and it lasts a few seconds, radiates to the left arm, and subsides after a minute of resting. Here in the ED, they're hypertensive and tachycardic, a little tachypneic, and the labs showed a normal renal function. Troponin is negative, and EKG without any evidence of acute ischemia. Normal renal function, and on exam, the patient is in no acute distress, and lungs are clear, no lower extremity edema. Heart sounds are normal. Chest x-ray was clear, and assessment and plan, chest pain. We're going to admit the patient to telemetry and do a stress test in the morning, and we'll give aspirin and nitroglycerin sublingual as needed. Okay, let's stop it there. And you might have noticed I kind of like went back and forth in the labs and maybe ramble a little bit. And that's nice thing about using voice chart instead of dictation. With dictation, you have to be clear on what you're saying, and it's going to transcribe your speech to text as you go. Here, you have a little bit of room to think about what you're going to say, and then do any corrections. So let's transcribe, and then and it's going to take less than a minute, and you're going to see it appear on the left side menu. If for some reason it takes more than a few seconds, feel free to refresh. But as you can see, it's processing the note, and let's just give it a few more seconds. Now, if you're in the ED, sometimes the process or the workflow is that you see the patient, and then you order some labs, and then you come back and see the patient. So sometimes it's better to use the app just because you're able to stop the visit. So if I'm, let's say I started recording with the patient, and then say, hey, we're going to order some x-rays and some labs, and I'll come back and talk to you about the results. So you can pause it, go back, just save the note temporarily. Let's see, test 1, 2, 3. And so the note is here on the top. And then let's say I want to go talk to another patient. I do the same thing. I start the visit, and then I'll come back to you, go back. Let's say this is 222. And then the results for the first patient came back. I go back, start recording, talk to my patient. So we're going to admit you to the hospital. We're going to do this and that. Stop, and then hit transcribe, and it's going to give you a note. And you can manage several patients at the same time doing this. On the web, it's a little bit tricky. You will have to open several tabs with Chartnote, and then remember which one is which. You can obviously put a label there, but anyway, it's a feature that it's useful for some doctors. It's might not be useful if it's in the clinic. So once you have your note, there are several things you can do. Let's say you can obviously type. So if you forgot something about psych, you can type. You can dictate. So you have a microphone here. You can click and start. You can use the hotkey, which is control down arrow, and activate the microphone. Alert and oriented times 3, period, next line. Neurologic, colon, cranial nerves 2 to 12, grossly normal, period. Cranial. Anyway, it's not copywriting right now, but so you can dictate, type, insert snippets. So let's say I have a chest pain template that I can insert, and finish your notes. And then, for example, let me just delete this for now. We have this Copilot tools, so you can, for example, ask our AI to write an after-visit summary. So let's say this is going to be for the patient and advanced level. You can select the language, and it's going to write an after-visit summary. You can ask Copilot another question, differential diagnosis, what medication to use, things like that. Let me just give you another example. Ask for more information. What will be the dose for heparin if the patient had an STEMI? Anyway, so it gives you answers and based on the knowledge of the AI, which is usually pretty accurate, but always good to double check anything that you see here. Okay, so we talk about AI Scribe, Voice Chart, Copilot. Here you can always quickly start a new visit. I'm gonna talk a little bit about note template. You can start like a note from scratch, typing, dictating, using your dot phrases. It's less and less users are using this, but it's always available if you want to use it. Okay, what else? Let me. Let's see. Well, I talked a little bit about the security of our platform. We're HIPAA compliant. When you create an account, you agree to a business associate agreement that obliges us to keep your data secure. If you need more information, you can always click here in the right lower corner. There's a link to our trust portal. And if you're an organization and it's personalized agreement, we can work on that. Okay, so something super helpful for some of our users is creating their own templates. So for example, when you create an AI Scribe, you select the template. By default, we have a few options here: SOAP note, ED note, psych note, but you can create your own template and customize it and tell the AI how you want each section to look like so it matches your style. So to get access to that, you want to go to library and go to AI powered note templates. And here you can create a new template, and I'm going to show you the one that I use the most. So for example, you just give it a name, whatever you want. It's available on AI Scribe and Voice Chart. And then here you can write custom note instructions. So just in general, how you want your note to look like. So I'm telling the AI that I'm a family doctor, and I want the AI to use acronyms, but I don't want it to really spell out what they mean. And then on the subjective form, I like it as a single paragraph, so I'm telling the AI to do that. The objective, I like to use this template and then adjust as needed. For the assessment, I like to list a list of ICD-10 diagnoses and then give me a quick summary of the assessment. And then the plan, I like all my problems, and I like them on bullet point style. And then in the same note, I'm adding a section called patient instructions, and I tell it how it should look like. Now, this is super powerful. It can understand complex instructions and conditionals. So definitely give it a try. You'll be super impressed on how this can really make your notes look like the way you like them. So that's something pretty unique about Chartnote that we can offer that. And also we have one of the most powerful AI models. Anyway, other things you can see here in the library is the snippet library. By default, your account comes with about 1,000 templates and snippets, but you can create your own. And then there's a community where people share their snippets, and we have thousands and thousands, and you can kind of like look them. And if you like one, you can import them to your library and then use them and edit them. Okay, so another thing that I want to cover here is, once you have your note, the end goal is to put this in your EHR. So depending on what EHR you have, like for example, if you have a web-based EHR, we have a Chrome extension that can directly insert the notes into the EHR. I'll cover that in a minute. But if you're on application EHR, like a desktop application like Epic or Cerner, the best option for you might be to have a Chartnote on one side and then the EHR on the other side, and then just copy paste. And so, for example, let's say this was the EHR, and you might want to copy paste the note, which is, can be a little bit of work, but you're saving quite a bit of time just by the AI running your notes. So you can copy, paste. So each section has this button where you can use it to quickly transfer your notes. Now I'm gonna show you. You can always copy the whole note. There's this button here that says copy note. So if your EHR, for example, if you're using Epic and it's just a block of text, you can paste the whole note if you want. What else? So now if you're using a web-based EHR, the extension is super easy to install. You use Google Chartnote Chrome extension, and it's the first result. And here's a button that says add to Chrome, and it's a one-click installation. If you click there, it's going to install right here in the where the extensions are. And from here, there are a few things you can do. So for example, if you want to, let's see what happened here. If you wanted to, oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. This is not liking my double clicking. If you wanted to insert the last note we were working on, let's say this one, you click and it will install the note there. So if you were using your phone to create the note and then you go to your web-based EHR, just one click, you can insert it into the EHR. Now here, the extension will also allow you to insert snippets. So, for example, um, you can search for the snippet here. So, for example, I'm going to insert this one. It's called atrial fibrillation, and insert it. But if you know the abbreviation, you can use right at symbol, and then the abbreviation, and then click tab, and it will expand your snippet. And you can also dictate. So let's see. So this microphone will dictate directly into the EHR. Now, if you're using a good tip about audio quality is that either if you're dictating or you're recording a visit, you always have to want a good audio quality. Using your phone, you usually get pretty good audio. Make sure you put it in between your patient and you, or if you're dictating, put it close to your mouth. If you're using a laptop computer, usually they have good internal microphones. However, if you're using a desktop computer, usually they don't have good internal microphones, and it's better if you buy a USB microphone, something like an omnidirectional microphone. And let me just show you how they look. Something like this. You can get on Amazon. They're not too expensive. And then you put it somewhere where it's going to capture the audio from the room. So that's a good tip about that. Another good tip is when you're creating your notes. If you're using one of the templates that you the custom templates, make sure you select it before you start the patient visit, or at least before you submit for transcription. Let's see. Talking a little bit about our plans. When you start, you can create a free account, and you have access to all the features with some limitations, but you can try them all. And then depending on what's the feature that you want to use the most, there are different plans for you. So for example, if you are only interested in using the snippets, you probably want to use the premium subscription, and you get unlimited use of snippets. If you want to use unlimited dictation, so speech to text, live dictation, kind of Dragon style dictation, you want to use a professional subscription. If you want to use a lot of our AI features, you probably want to use our Max, and this is our has become our most popular subscription plan. If you get on a yearly basis, you get a better pricing. If you are in a clinic and want to get it for the whole team, we offer that, and the admin has some tools to add and remove users as needed, and we have unified billing. So anyway, so thank you so much for your time. Feel free to reach out through our chat. We also have, if you have any feedback, we have this big button on the corner that you can, any feedback that you have, we always try to listen to our users to try to improve our product. And hope you have a good evening. Thank you for staying with us. Take care.